story behind this little Yaris goes that when I was a young kid, I wanted something with a bit of power. And this 1.8 Yaris SR had 130 horsepower, which when I was 18 was extra rapid. And that led to a little bit of dick swinging with me and a very good friend of mine. And that's because he had the Fiesta ST 2 litre 150 horsepower. And all I ever heard was, Ben, my car's definitely faster than yours. So one night at about midnight, I decided to take my car out and his car out and find out whose car was actually quicker. And 138 miles an hour later, allegedly, they were neck and neck. Although the mighty Yaris was down on power, I do think that it was a bit lighter than the Fez, which ultimately made them virtually identical in straight line speed. But that was when the plod caught us up in the Volvo T5 and said I was doing over 155 miles an hour to try and catch you boys up. That resulted in a quick court case later, a 28-day ban and a £205 fine. I couldn't believe it either. Fast forward many years and I have another one. It's the exact same colour, it's a 3-door, it's a 1.8, well, it's probably not got 130 horsepower anymore. But I've got one. And the plan now for this car is to see if I can beat that 138 mile an hour top speed. Because amazingly, I was nowhere near the red line in 5th. It didn't have enough power for that. So I'm hoping that this turbo, very kindly provided to us by Max Speedy Rods, will help us get there. Beautifully modelled by Turbo Jesus. In a previous video, we had to change the wishbones, the drop links, as well as the springs, the fuel filler neck, and some of the rear brake lines. Now I'm hoping that the only things next to do now are the exhaust and tyres, and then we can get this beauty through its MOT. So in the last video we had a bit of a laugh at the tyres on this car. These Aptanis Sport Macro, apparently they've got plenty of tread on to get this car through its MOT, so these are fine. But I cannot say the same about the rears. This one's pretty much on the limit. That's virtually flat, and this one is real old. Look at the cracks in that. It keeps going flat, this one, so that is knackered. This has definitely got to be one of the poshest welders I have ever seen. One thing I've got to know though, is this all the gear and no idea? Is this like us? If I bought this welder, would it be exactly the same, do you reckon?
I'm going to put that to the test.
See what my welding's like?
Yeah, we've got a really shit welder over there. Shit welder with a pro welder versus shit welder with a pro welder.
Okay, okay. I'm up for it. Can't be that hard, can it? Now I would love to give you guys a detailed informational description as to exactly what's going on here, but I genuinely have no idea about welding. MIG, TIG, I think this is TIG welding, but I tell you what, since I've been doing this voiceover, I've noticed that the underside of this 2007 Yaris looks miles better than the underside of that 2009 Ford Focus does. And whilst Lou tacks that up into position, I'm going to go and see about these new tyres. Hey, I found something that looks just as suspect as that sports car, and I use code EVILGT for my car vertical report, where they check thousands of different databases. Now, because this is a very cheap build, the idea is to just put some part ones on the back, get this through its MOT, because I could be changing the wheels anyway. Everything seems to check out okay. There doesn't seem to be any finance or any mileage discrepancies, but it looks like it's had a colourful history. There's loads of information here. In and out in about 15 minutes, job done. It was damaged in May of 2019, must have been quickly patched up, put up for sale, sold twice, then later had an MOT, failed on loads of things as well as the tyres, which explains them dodgy Aptanis. Now I already know what you're going to say. This is one of the biggest pet hates and bugbears of mine, having odd tyres on a car. But for the purpose of purely getting this through its MOT, it doesn't matter. So we've gone with an ultra high performance Tiger and whatever that says. So don't go buying lemons like us. Make sure you hit the link in the description below and use code EVILGT for money off your car vertical report. Right Lou, how are you getting on?
Just trying to find a balance between clearance on the chassis.
Okay.
Whilst obviously keeping it tucked as high as we can for ground clearance.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with it so far.
Just before you tack that together then, what's the situation? How can people find you?
People can Google me, LMRE, Lumella Race Engineering. .co.uk. I'll put a link in the description of the video.
So it's not just car related stuff, you can literally fabricate anything, can't you?
Yeah, pretty much any welding and fabrication, but I do specialise in motorsport.
So there you go, Turbo Jesus. You'll have to excuse his dodgy barnet, but you know, nobody's perfect, are they? Heave ho! We don't have a posh pipe bender unfortunately, so I just bought a bender.
Hey!
Onto the hangers next, and I genuinely thought this was going to be a bit of a pain in the arse, this job, but it wasn't actually that bad. I obviously used my massive strength to bend these bars back. Lou tacked them into position, easy. We have a bit of a problem here with this back box because, well, it's quite big as you can see, which is exactly how we wanted to do it, but the end of the back box here is catching on the wheel well, so what I'm going to do is smack that in. Good. looks like factory that. Our massive exhaust now fits fine. Evil GT exhaust fabrication. Get in touch now. So after quite a lot of grafting, Louis is getting there now with the exhaust. It is starting to take shape. And based on these welds, mate, I've taught you well. From front to back, we're pretty much done. Sport cat is in position, and the rest of it now is done onto the back box, and that is the final bit. Now, our eBay back box didn't exactly come straight, so we're gonna sort that out now. And we're done. Now for the best bit. New tyres are on, wheels are back on. You can do the honours. Listen to that deep grumble. Oh. My only concern is that I don't think the sports cat's doing its job. But she sounds like a little beast. That's ridiculous. Next job, we'll see if I can quietly make it to the MOT test centre. And after completing all of the work on our list, our little Yaris has passed its test. There were a few advisories, one being how loud this exhaust is, two being how yellow the front headlights are. We can get them sorted, that's easy. A few things I've spotted straight away. This clutch pedal is so stiff. It's unbearably stiff. It's like we've already put a Sachs Performance clutch in it. Ash thinks that it's on its way out, so that needs to be sorted. The throttle pedal's quite sticky. It sort of hangs really bad. It's not the best, not very responsive. So I think a bit of WD-40 is in order for that as well. Oh, and it still stinks in here from when we attempted to clean it way back when. That definitely needs sorting. Now, as you guys know, we want to turbocharge the Yaris, and it's pretty important to find out how much horsepower it's got now before we start messing about with it. We're at DC Performance, and we're going to find out exactly how much horsepower our little Yaris has got. Now, it should have 130 brake horsepower, but it genuinely feels like it's got about 30. Mr. Man of many words, how many horsepower do you reckon it's got? Brilliant. Right, Ash, now you've had a bit of practice, let's try that again. How many horsepowers?
115.
So this should have had 130 brake horsepower from factory.
Yeah.
How many do you reckon it's got now?
What else has it had done to it?
Just the top of the range exhaust.
Yeah.
That's it.
Probably 130 still. Yeah.
So 130 horsepower. He's ambitious. Funnily enough, I've absolutely no idea what fuel this car's got in it. It probably still got the fuel in it from the field. I think 130 horsepower is ambitious. Prepare yourselves for the worst sounding dyno run you've ever heard. This is the face you make when that horrific sounding car hits the rev limiter. Hey Ash, I reckon them Aptanis are giving it another 10 horsepower there. So we just found out it's making 99 horsepower at the wheels, but you're saying it's what? How many horsepower?
122 brake horse.
I always said this was a beast. So that's 122 brake horsepower from a claimed 130. I reckon that's my professional oil and filter change that did that. Here's Sam from 4 Second Racing Club. You alright, mate?
You alright, mate?
This car was built, it's absolutely ridiculous. It looks wild, this. Look at this. It's 1,000 horsepower.
Correct.
Can you donut it here, please?
Fuck that. That's not my car, that's a customer's car. Oh, my car is coming up soon, guys. It's a 1,200 wheels horsepower.
What is it?
Pumfield, the
GTR?
AC Speed 10, yes.
So that's amazing news, 122 brake horsepower. Time to give it 222 with the new turbo. So thank you very much to the guys at DC Performance Centre. I'll put the links in the description below. If you want to come and get your car on the dyno or mapped or whatever you want, these guys will sort you out. But if you've enjoyed today's video, please do consider liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you on the next one.